All right, boys and girls, time to put your thinking caps back on. I hope everybody had a wonderful long weekend, enjoyed some time outside, some time with families. We are getting down to our last several days of school here. And we are also getting down, as a matter of fact, with our last few multiplication facts here. Today we are all the way working up to eighths, which to me is our last real hard one that we're going to work on, even though they're probably not all that hard from you, judging by how well you guys have been doing. But after this, we've got some cool little tricks and things to make our last few numbers easy. So with eights, one thing we want to remember, just like we talked about in the past, with our even numbers when we multiply means even answer no matter what. Even if we multiply even or even odd, we are going to get an even number for an answer. All right? So just a quick review, our patterns that we have been working on. I'll start with one of the bigger ones that we are going to do. One of the harder problems, 8 times 6. Remember, that can mean a couple things. To me, that means 8 circles, put 6 in each. Or we can make lines of 8 6 times. I kind of like that with our bigger numbers. So we'll see if I can do that here. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try and make sure I use the whole space, and I'll do that 6 times. That's already 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3. Third line, fourth line, keeping them lined up. Fifth line. And sixth line. Went 8 down, 6 line. Now all I have to do is count. Now you'll see I got a little wonky there at the bottom, but for the rest, they're all lined up. If I count them all out here, going 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way through, I'm going to get my answer of 48. Again, I really like those arrays when we do our bigger numbers. We'll get an answer of 48 there. All right. Keeping things working here, remembering. We're still having, some of us, a little trouble remembering here when we get something like a 1 times 8. Seems super simple, but don't let it confuse you. Remember, anything times 1 is not 1. It's the other number. So that's 1 circle, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there, our answer is going to be 8. Different from if we did change that up to 0 times 8. Our answer is not going to be 8 because 0 circles with 8 in each is 0, or 8 circles, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles with none in each, we still get nothing, 0. Making sure we remember those things. Keep on building those. Now, last thing we're going to talk about today, because I know you've seen enough models from me, is now that we're up higher into the 6s, 7s, 8s, we've got some tricks. We know there are some easier things that we can do. Skip counting by 8s, by 7s, by 6s can be kind of tough, but we have some easier math facts that we do know. So when we get something like 8 times 2, and you'll get something like this on your homework, even though it's looking like we're working on 8s, we can think about this as working on 2s. 2, 8 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So we can do it as a 2 and make that problem pretty easy. Same thing if we erase here and we're going by 5s. 5s are pretty easy to skip count by. But if we're 5 times 8, think about it as a 5's multiplication problem instead of an 8 one. 5, 8 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Can probably look past those drawings and those easy ones. 1s, 2s, sometimes even 3s are easier to skip count, some of you that have practiced. and getting some of that easy stuff out there. And we can do that for 6s and 7s too. So look at that other number to decide if it's easier to skip count by. And after you learn our lessons tomorrow for 9s, 10s, and 11s later in the week, you'll probably want to use those numbers instead of 8s or 7s like we did last Friday, or 6s like last Thursday. So use the tricks you know for the other numbers when you encounter those. Now, harder problems like 7 times 8, 6 times 8, that's when we really want to draw those pictures, because we don't really have a nice, easy trick. They're hard to do in your head, so make sure you take the time to draw those circles or make that array. All right, second graders, if you are looking to stop and get going with your work, now is the time you can do that. Third graders and second graders that want to keep learning about division, hang out here with me. We're going to keep on going. All right, guys, division. Remember, we talked about even times even, even times odd. We're going to get an even answer. Remember, that doesn't hold true with division. That's not a rule that we can follow. So when we start to get things in like this, 64 divided by 8, could be an even answer, could be an odd. We've got to figure that out. Same thing there. Now remember, a couple ways to do this. You can start thinking in your head using those ones you know. 8 times what is 64? 64 divided by 8, that's another way to do it. Look at multiplication kind of backwards. Or we just make those 8 circles and we keep on going. Or we can even, we'll use it as an array this time, since I have it written down just like I did before. I'm going to make those lines 8 until I hit 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 56, got to keep going, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Then I just count across how many lines did I make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my answer is 8. 64 divided by 8 is 8. That's one of our doubles. Now, if you're showing your work and doing these at home, keep that array. You don't always have to make a brand new one, because since that was a higher number, 8, you will probably get something in the future that looks like, we'll say this. 8 times 24. Now, we don't have to redraw the wheel. We just don't have to go the whole way. So if I started counting again with that array that's already there for 8 or 64 divided by 8, I just have to count until I get to 24. How many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Right here in the third row is where I stopped. That was 24 dots. So that means 24 divided by 8 is 1, 2, 3 columns. So I get my answer. So even though I showed my work on that big one, now I can get a bunch of answers based on that. So if you're working on an assignment that has a number of those, you don't have to redo it every time. And if it gets even bigger than 64, you can continue to add right to this one instead of doing it all over again, as long as you leave yourself room. So those are things you can do. Remember, as you get those word problems, always looking, do I get a part and a part for multiplication? And is my answer going to get bigger? Or did I get a whole and a part and my answer is getting smaller because I'm dividing things out? All right. Good job on your work last week. Keep it up this week.